what up, gearheads? MotoWeasel here. Well, gearheads, I got some news for you. Guys, Harley just did something a lot of riders have been begging them to do. They're bringing Revolution Max production for North America back to the States. Praise the Lord. And I'll give them credit, guys. That is a good move. But here's the problem. After years of high prices, offshore production complaints, dealer frustration, corporate messaging, and riders feeling ignored, one good announcement doesn't automatically rebuild trust, guys. The real question is not, did Harley make the right move? Because they did. The real question we should be asking is it too late for riders to believe them? Because that's where Harley's real problem is. This isn't just about where an engine is built. This is about whether riders believe Harley-Davidson is actually changing direction, or whether this is just another corporate headline that sounds good for a week and then disappears into the ether. Guys, that matters because Harley isn't just fighting Indian, Honda, BMW, Yamaha, or the used market. Harley is fighting doubt from its own riders. A lot of riders still love Harley motorcycles. Guys, they love the sound, the look, the history of it. You know, they love what Harley is supposed to represent, but a lot of those same riders don't fully trust Harley as a company anymore. That's the issue. A rider can love their Harley and still not trust Harley-Davidson. And that's exactly why this Revolution Max announcement matters. Harley's new back to brick strategy sounds exactly what a lot of riders have been asking for. Get back to basics, guys. Get back to the roots. Get back to the bikes. Get back to American manufacturing. Get back to the people who ride. And this Revolution Max move fits that message. So for a while, you know, some Revolution Max production had been tied to Thailand, and guys, that didn't sit very well with a lot of riders. It became one of those issues that fed into, of course, you know, a bigger frustration around Harley, because when people think Harley-Davidson, they don't think offshore production, they think Milwaukee, they think York, they think American workers. Hell, they think big B-twins, history, garages, old shops, dealerships, rallies, and that feeling Harley's supposed to represent, you know, that's something more than just another motorcycle company. Whether that image has always been perfect or not is a different conversation for another day. But the image matters, and Harley knows it matters. That's why this move is important. Harley is saying Revolution Max production for North America is coming back to American facilities in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. That includes machining, powertrain assembly, painting, and final vehicle assembly work. And the engines are expected to start showing up in 2028 model year bikes. So we still have a few years before we'll see anything. That's cool, that matters. And I think riders should give Harley credit for it. I know I've been hard on Harley. A lot of us have been hard on Harley, but if Harley does something right, guys, I'm going to say they did something right. Bringing production back to America, that's a good move. But this is where I want to be careful, guys. This is a good first step, but it doesn't fix the whole ownership experience. There's still a bigger picture here, because Harley's trust problem doesn't only happen at the factory. Guys, it happens at the dealership, at the service desk. It happens when a rider sees the fees. When someone wants to move up from a Sportster, but the numbers don't make sense. It happens when someone loves their Harley, but says they would never buy another new one. It happens when riders feel like Harley wants their loyalty, but doesn't always give that loyalty back. That's why, guys, one announcement isn't enough. This doesn't magically erase high prices. It doesn't erase dealer fees, bad dealership experiences. It doesn't erase riders feeling ignored. It doesn't erase the fact that a lot of people still look at a new Harley and say, man, I would love to own one, but I can't justify the price. It also doesn't erase the trust issue, because trust isn't rebuilt with one announcement. Trust is rebuilt over time, and that's where Harley still has to work to do. The timing of this announcement is quite interesting. Harley has been getting hammered online lately, guys. A lot of writers, creators, and commentators have been going after the company for being disconnected, for offshore manufacturing, pricing, corporate messaging, and for not feeling like Harley a lot of writers grew up loving. When this news drops, it almost feels too perfect. Like, oh, now they're bringing production back. But hey, stick with me here. To be fair, guys, I do have a couple of rocks in my noggin here. Manufacturing doesn't move overnight. You don't just wake up on a Monday and say, let's move engine production back to America by Friday. Nah, it ain't happening, guys. That takes planning, takes investment, equipment, staffing, supply chain work, factory changes. You got your union coordination. That takes real logistics behind the scenes that we don't see. I don't think this is something Harley threw together in a panic because people were mad online last week. This was probably in motion for a while. And if that's the case, then maybe this new direction under Artie Stars is more than just talk. Now, I know people call him the pizza guy CEO, and I get why riders are skeptical. A lot of Harley riders want motorcycle people running motorcycle companies. They want leadership that understands the brand. They want leadership that understands the culture. They want leadership that understands the sound, the feel, the history, the garage side of it, the dealership side of it, and of course, the biggest one, the rider side of it. When someone comes in from outside that world, people are naturally going to ask, does this guy get it? Does he understand Harley? Does he understand why? Does he understand what made this brand matter in the first place? That's a fair question. So far, if this back to the brick strategy means bringing production back, bringing the Sportster back, focusing on core riders like you and myself, building bikes people actually want, and trying to reconnect with American manufacturing, then those are the right moves if you ask me, guys. Harley has to prove it, because the comments I've been reading from you guys are very clear. A lot of you don't hate Harley motorcycles. That's the part Harley needs to understand. People still love the bikes. Guys, they love the sound, they love the look, the feeling, they love the history. Some of you have even said, I'll never sell my Harley, but I'll never buy another new one. That's a very powerful statement, because that tells me the love for the motorcycle is still there, but trust in the company is damaged. That's Harley's real problem right now. A rider can love their Harley and still not trust Harley anymore. And this Revolution Max move is important because it speaks directly to that trust issue. If Harley is saying, we hear you, we know American manufacturing matters, we know riders care where these bikes are built, we know brand has drifted, we're bringing some of the work back home, that's the kind of action riders have been asking for. But again, one good move doesn't finish the job. Harley's problems are way bigger than one engine platform, guys. They need to fix the ownership experience, the dealer experience, the entry point, the upgrade path. They need to make bikes that regular riders can realistically buy, ride, maintain, and feel proud of. Right now, a lot of riders are saying the same thing. I still want a Harley, but the numbers don't make sense. That's a dangerous place for Harley to be right now. When people still want the product but don't buy it, that means demand isn't dead. It just means the path to ownership is broken. Bringing production back to America probably can't help with the emotional side of brand. Harley still has to deal with the practical side of it. What does the bike cost? What does the service cost? What do the dealer fees look like? Can a younger rider get into the brand? Can a working rider justify it? Can someone move from a Sportster into a bigger Harley without feeling like they're getting financially hosed? Can someone own the bike for 10 or 15 years and still feel supported by the dealer? Guys, that's where trust gets rebuilt right there. Not just in a press release, but at the dealership, at the parts counter, at the service desk, on the showroom floor, and into the garage after the bike is paid off. Now, guys, let's talk about the Revolution Max engine itself. This engine has always been an interesting part of Harley's lineup because it represents the modern side of Harley. Matter of fact, the Pan America was Harley stepping into adventure bikes. The Sportster S was Harley trying to modernize the Sportster idea. The Nightster was another attempt to bring in a lighter, more modern Harley. And there have been rumors and hopes around a Revolution Max Cafe Racer, which honestly could be really freaking cool, man. The Revolution Max platform does have potential, guys, but again, potential doesn't matter if riders don't emotionally connect with the bike. Harley has never been just a spec sheet company. People don't buy Harleys only because of horsepower numbers. Modern performance is fine, liquid cooling is fine, hell, technology is fine, new platforms are fine, but it still has to feel like a Harley. That's the line they can't cross. The problem was never that Harley tried something new. The problem is when riders feel like the new direction is replacing the soul of the company instead of building on it. That's why this American production move matters. It gives Harley a chance to say, we can modernize without abandoning who we are. We can build new engines without losing the American manufacturing identity. We can chase new riders without forgetting the riders who kept this company alive. That's the balance Harley has to find. And if Artie Stars understands that, then maybe Harley has a shot at turning this thing around. But if it becomes just another marketing slogan, riders are going to see right through it. Guys, Harley riders are not dumb. Guys, they know when something feels real, they know when something feels fake, and they sure in the hell know when a company is listening. They know when a company is just trying to calm people down. And right now, Harley doesn't need more slogans. They need proof. The Revolution Max move it's proof that Harley understands American manufacturing still matters. It's proof that they know the offshore production issue hurt the brand image big time. It's proof that back to the bricks might actually mean something. It's not proof that everything is fixed. Not yet. The real test is what comes next. Do they bring back bikes people actually want? Do they keep pricing realistic? Do they support dealers without turning customers into walk-in wallets? Do they make entry-level bikes that feel like real Harleys? Do they give younger riders a reason to care? Do they give longtime riders a reason to trust them again? That's what I'm watching for. I don't want Harley to fail. I know some people think when you criticize Harley, that means you hate Harley. A lot of us criticize Harley because we want them to remember what made people care in the first place. Harley-Davidson is not just another motorcycle company. At least it shouldn't be. But that also means the standard is higher. If you're going to sell heritage like Harley does, guys, you have to honor it. If you're going to sell American identity, you have to protect it. For the love of God, if you're gonna sell loyalty, you have to give loyalty back. And if you're gonna tell riders you're getting back to their bricks, then you better down well actually get back to their bricks. So yes, I think Harley deserves credit for this move. Bringing Revolution Max production for North America back to the United States is smart. It's good for the brand, the workers, the image, and it's probably good for rider confidence. Now Harley has to keep going. Riders are not gonna trust Harley again because of one announcement. They'll trust Harley when the bikes make sense, when the prices make sense, when the dealers treat people right. When the company feels connected to regular riders again, when Harley starts acting like loyalty is automatic and starts earning it again. Guys, my take is this. Harley made the right move. Now they have to prove it was not just one move. They have to prove this is the beginning of real course correction. Back to the bricks is real, riders will notice. And if it's just another corporate slogan, riders will notice that too. Now I want to hear from you. Does bringing Revolution Max production back to America make you trust Harley more? Is this a real step in the right direction? Or is this too little too late? Guys, drop your comments because I already know this is going to be interesting. And I love reading your comments and I respond to every one of you guys. And as always, ride safe.